Hey everybody, Mark Davis in the wake of our Thursday, June 13th program. The federal government made us mad today here in Texas, and usually we call that Thursday, but this was a particular vein of anger, and I wanted to go through a little bit of it with you and see just how angry we ought to be. FEMA decided in its infinite wisdom that they've just about run out of money for the good people of West Texas, helping them rebuild, as President Obama said they would do when he came down to glom off the photo op goodwill of coming to the memorial service to the people who had died in the fertilizer plant explosion in the little town of West. About 2,800 people there, and their mayor says, we're not made of money. We don't have the money to rebuild an entire school and all the roads. We're looking at about $50 million. $50 million is not lunch money, at least not to me, but that's a pittance. I mean, I think the government's wasted $50 million since I started this blog piece a couple of minutes ago. So it's not like they don't have the money. Hurricane Sandy, we all felt properly bad about that. $60 billion with a B, 60 billion dollars of relief for Hurricane Sandy. But $50 million, less than 1/10 of 1%. For the good people of West Texas, that was a big no. And so the instant reaction was it because Obama doesn't like Texas? Is it because he didn't like Rick Perry? Is it something political? But then some of the articles looking at some of this found a town in Northern California, mind you, that had a gas pipeline explosion in 2010, and FEMA eventually shut that down too, saying it no longer meets the rule book, the guidelines for a major disaster declaration. So I asked listeners today, is this just the way the bureaucratic cookie crumbles? And I started to get some interesting answers back. Number one, isn't this what insurance is for? Not just personal insurance. FEMA will, by the way, continue to aid some individuals in West, but this is big stuff. This is schools, and this is roads and things that have much higher price tags. And the other question people ask is, what about lawsuits? Adair Chemical, A-D-A-I-R, Adair Chemical. These are the people that own the West Fertilizer Company, and that's just a guy down there in West. His name is Don Adair. It's his company. He hadn't got $50 million lying around. Well, isn't this what lawsuits are made for? Some people ask that if this is his plant and his responsibility, his fault, if you will, shouldn't this price tag be hung on him? And because one of the main points that was made is that here in conservative land where I live, aren't we in the habit of saying that there are some things that no matter how our hearts may tug, there are some things that are just not every taxpayer's responsibility to rebuild. I was the guy who said after Hurricane Sandy, is it my job in Texas to rebuild the Jersey Shore? Hello, what's insurance for? So can I in good conscience expect the taxpayers of New Jersey to rebuild West just because I love those people and they're just down the road from me? So if we could create an America in which we really didn't even have FEMA, we just left states to repair their own disaster aftermaths, and they could do that, by the way, because if we got rid of the 75% of government that we don't need and that was not what the Founding Fathers envisioned, we'd have so much tax money left over, we could rebuild the Jersey Shore on an annual basis, and West Texas would be a drop in the bucket. But that's not the kind of country we have. The kind of country we have is a bureaucracy where all the money gets funneled into Washington. There is such a thing as FEMA, and they send out checks according to the rules and the guidelines that they have. Well, if bureaucratically they couldn't see fit to continue helping West Texas, maybe what they ought to do, and this was done in the post-Sandy era, is maybe Senator Cruz, Senator Cornyn, maybe Congressman Bill Flores, it's his district down there, need to float a bill that says, look, FEMA wouldn't do it, so we will. You got $50 million lying around? Oh, gee, just found it in this pocket, and they can help the people of West Texas. Some people suggested private fundraising. That's a lot of private fundraising. $50 million. I don't know if that would really happen. But ultimately, it shines a light on the kind of structure that we have set up. That bad things happen. We've nationalized weather tragedies. We've suddenly made it the entire country's business if a hurricane hits the Jersey Shore. So it's certainly no surprise that we try to make it the nation's business when a plant blows up in a little town in Texas. Maybe that logic is what got us into this spending crisis in the first place. But in the meantime, I just feel for the people of West, and I want something to be able to help them. And I don't know if it's lawsuits, litigation, or if it's insurance, or if it's some imaginative piece of legislation that needs to be crafted now because FEMA has decided, no, we're pretty well out of money. But whatever path is taken, the one thing we do not have any shortage of is our prayers for those folks, because believe you me, they still need them. Thank you. We need you, listeners and callers and such every day. Thanks. If you're watching this on Thursday, the day that I'm doing it, Friday, tomorrow morning, woohoo! Hey, last day before vacation. I'm on vacation for the week of the 16th, 17th, whatever that is. And so 5 big hours on the radio starting at 5 a.m. with Bill Bennett's Morning in America. We'll do all the Ed Snowden NSA talk, see what the country thinks about that from 5 to 8. And then 8 to 10, You and Me, Texas, local show, but local or national issues, whatever we want to do. So be there, call me, we'll have fun. It's the world of talk shows. Mark Davis, thank you for catching us here on 660 AM, The Answer.